mighty old river must you keep rolling, flowing into the night. People so busy make me feel dizzy, taxi lights shine so bright, but I don't need no friend as long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset. I am in paradise. Every day I look at the world from my window, but chilly, chilly is the evening time. Waterloo sunset time. Waterloo sunset time. Terry meets Julie, Waterloo Station, every Friday night. But I am so lazy, don't want to wander, I stay at home at night. But I don't feel afraid.
Welcome, everybody. I hope that you're all enjoying your lunch hour. Thanks for spending out with us. So my name is Chris Wells, and we are traveling the world. We traveled through the decades in our last USPS promotions, and this time we're traveling through the world. So we're pretty excited about it. London, right? Nice song by the Kinks, good English band about the city of London. You know, it's hard to find a song about the city of London that isn't completely derogatory. So we're kind of, it was kind of good to find Waterloo Sunset. So anyways, welcome. We're here to talk about tactile, sensory, and interactive direct mailers. It's all about engagement, folks, right? We're marketers. We need to get people to pay attention to our stuff. And this particular webinar about tactile, sensory, and interactive mailers is one of the best ways to get people to interact. And we know once we can get them to interact, we have a much higher probability that they're going to respond, which is really what our goal is. So I want to give a special welcome. I think we do have a whole bunch of our young upcoming leaders from Worcester Vocational Technical High School watching the webinar today. So we love to get people excited about graphics communications, and this is one way to do it. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Tactile, sensory, and interactive mailers. So this is the first webinar of the year. We always get excited at webinar season. Key elements of this program. First, there's a number of changes with the program this year, which is kind of neat to see. So we're going to talk about first class, marketing, or nonprofit mail, letters, postcards, flats. They have to mail between February 1st and July 31st, so the program's already started. And they need to meet some criteria. One, visible and distinguishable tactile, sensory, or interactive treatment on the envelope or the mail piece. Because you're here, you're going to learn all about that. Secondly, you have to submit to the promotion office no later than 1 week before the first mailing for approval. Post office has been pretty good about approving these things in a relatively quick time frame. So anyways, but don't forget about that. You get a 4% discount this year on TSI mailers. So that's twice what it has been in the past. It used to be 2%, now it's 4%. Here are some other changes to the 2022 program in addition to the double discount. First of all, metallic inks have kind of been out of the program for quite a while. They're back into the program now. Remember, it has to be distinguishable and obvious, visible, I guess they call it, visible and distinguishable. So it can't be just kind of this little light hit of metallic on an uncoated stock. It's got to be like pop in your face metallic. Things like scratch offs, stickers, reveals, pull tabs, those don't qualify anymore. And this year, first class is eligible. In previous years, it was just for marketing and nonprofit. This year we have first class, so that's exciting as well. Key dates, kind of went over them, but the registration period's already started, so it goes all the way through July 31st. The promotion's already started, but you've got a pretty decent amount of time to pull this off. You can do as many different mailers as you want throughout the period. It goes all the way till July 31st. And don't forget to add that date to the to your schedule. All right, so some examples of what we are talking about. There's a lot of examples in TSI, so I am going to go like lightning fast here. But any additional information you want, shoot me an email. You know how to get in touch with me or your account executive. And most of these could require, you know, a 30-minute discussion on any one of them. They're really broken into 4 areas using specialty inks, specialty substrates, interactive pieces, and specialty envelopes. And remember, our goal, again, is to get people to interact with our direct mail. Some of the specialty inks are very expensive, very difficult to do. We don't do them, but I'm going to show them to you anyways, just because I think it's important to know what's happening in the world of direct mail and print and what's happening with some of these technologies that can potentially change our business going forward. So in terms of conductive ink, I'm going to show you a quick little video that I actually made that kind of shows you a lot of different ways to use it. So conductive ink is basically, if you think of like a printed circuit board, conductive ink is what they utilize. It's small metallic electrically charged particles that can transmit signals through different circuits. So you can actually produce wafer thin, paper thin circuits now and actually get ink to cause the paper to react in more like an electronic device. So let me pop this up. I'm going to show you this quick little video and then I'll be back with you.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Yeah. Live on mic, you know who's in charge. Who's in charge? Live on mic, you know who's in charge. Live
This is a giraffe.
Now we begin the process.
So you've got some pretty cool stuff there, right? So again, conductive ink, very expensive, but that last example I showed you, we always try to bring in some new things every year. That's a company called BitBook. So the BitBook, there's also a BitBook crypto company that you're going to see if you Google BitBook. We all know how big crypto is, but BitBook is kind of a startup, and they have this idea of basically blending the best of both worlds between ebooks and printed books. Really cool stuff, but again, pretty early stage and pretty expensive. The next type of ink we're going to talk about is thermochromic. So thermo being heat sensitive, right? So there are two types of thermochromic ink. There's irreversible, which means when I apply heat, it either goes from a transparent to a color or color A to color B and stays there. Or there's reversible, which means that when I apply heat, it goes from transparent to color back to transparent, or color A to color B and back to color A. So you can kind of see an example here of how it works. These are great types of inks for reveals, you know, special codes. Again, if I can just get somebody to do what this person's doing to my direct mail piece, my chance of getting a response just go up exponentially, because now they're looking at it, they're reading it. Is there any other things any secret messages I can reveal here? All of those things really can help increase your response rate. So thermochromic. The next one is photochromic. So again, as the name says, these are inks that are sensitive to light. So one of the neatest ones that is pretty available are these Field Notes notebooks. They're very popular. They have a color called Snowblind, which actually will change color as you bring it into the sunlight. And this just kind of shows a press sheet and how it works when you're using photochromic ink. So as the light starts to get exposed to the press sheet, the ink will start to appear. Again, kind of another neat way to do reveals and secret messages and things that people have to interact with your piece in order to get the message that you're trying to provide. The other type of photochromic is using black lights. So this one is one that we did using invisible ink. So by sending this direct mail piece out with a little black light, you can reveal all these secret little messages. That's actually fairly easy to do on digital presses. So again, it's about getting that interaction. We talk about optically variable. So these are inks that basically change colors based on the angle you're looking at them. So this just shows it kind of going from a turquoise to a purple to back. Is that going to get any response? I don't know. It's part of what qualifies, so I have to go over. It's not the most exciting one, if you ask me. Then you have piezochromic. So piezo meaning touch, right? So this is not thermo, where the heat of your finger is making the reveal. It's actually the pressure that makes the reveal. So on cold days up here in New England, you could use piezochromic, and people can do it with cold hands. So again, it's just another reveal type of thing where you push on like that stop sign, and the message below it reveals. They have all different types of colors. You know, this is just an offset palette, whereas as the person touches it, this is an A to B, right? It's changing from one color to another color. So pretty cool stuff. And then one of my personal favorites is hydrochromic, hydro meaning water. So this can provide a reveal when water hits the ink. It can cause the top layer of ink to become transparent, or again, it works very similar to thermochromic. You can have it go color A to color B. So hey, if you're in the plumbing business, nothing better than hydrochromic. But even for invites and things like that, you know, this is a Happy New Year card with the idea of a champagne bottle popping, and I suppose you could dump champagne on it to make the message appear, or water, and then you kind of get your full message. Really neat idea for greeting cards or invites and things like that. So those are the different specialty inks that qualify for this particular promotion. So now we get into substrates, and you got to be careful with substrates as it relates to the USPS, because a lot of the things that they call substrates are actually treatments that we would do to the paper. But anyways, we're going to call it substrate. And it really breaks into your senses, right? Smell, see, touch, taste, and hear. So I'm going to go through each of them in terms of how these have been used and what some of the advantages are. Smell has probably become more popular in the last 3 or 4 years than in the history. Part of it is that scent technology as it relates to reproduction and chemicals and additives has really come a long way. So the library of different scents that you can have access to is huge. But the other one is people are becoming more, I guess, nostalgic is the way I would best describe it. And I think the pandemic had something to do with that. Work from home, you know, kind of a callback to family values. And, you know, there's a lot of science out there around scent and how scent can bring you back to this nostalgic, sometimes even melancholy state just in an instant. You know, things that smell like grandma's house, and you smell it, you maybe haven't smelled grandma's house since you were 6 years old, but man, it puts you right back in that place. So smell can be a very powerful emotional trigger when it comes to our marketing pieces, and adding scent to a printed piece is actually a very easy thing to do, and it's an unexpected thing for the recipient. We have some scent experts here that have smelled a lot of different things, and some that smell really good and some that smell really bad. It's kind of like walking through Yankee Candle. You kind of go, oh, but versus the ones that are good. So we can help you with that. Some actually, the smell is very difficult to detect. Some it's overpowering. So there's a lot of different experimentation you can do with this, but we've utilized it for our holiday cards with gingerbread. We did a campaign last year on the 60s, and we used the smell of fresh grass, not marijuana, but that is one of the scents, but actually fresh cut grass. We've done roses, chocolates. Smell is very powerful scents, and it's something that you can utilize in your direct mail at not a huge cost. From a visual standpoint, outside of some of the ink things, you can actually do some coatings on substrates. Like lenticular. So lenticular from the days of the Cracker Jack box with the little toy and the prism on the prismatic plastic on the front that would kind of go zoot, zoot, zoot when you scratched it. You don't need that anymore. This is actually lenticular with a clear lens. So the clear lens itself is what's refracting the light to make the different images. This is one of those that falls into the pretty expensive to do category. But there are other things you can do from a visual standpoint that are much less expensive. Using a holographic paper like you see there on the right, with some very creative ways of knocking out the print, can give you some neat effects. We've done some things where we've taken a holographic paper and printed it with kind of one hit on like a digital press, which is a very translucent. You use like a lighter yellow color or something, and it actually looks like the whole thing is printed on foil. It's just a beautiful, beautiful effect. And the paper is more than, well, not much is more than regular paper these days, as most of you know, but it's a little more than that, if you can believe it, but still much less expensive than doing something like lenticular or something like that. From a touch standpoint, all kinds of cool ways to use varnishes, reticulating varnishes. Soft touch does not qualify for this promotion, but using soft touch in combination with textured varnishes, you can see there, you can see the pavement kind of light up. This one, you know, the lizard scales are reticulating varnish where you can see the texture on them. It's on a nice opalescent sheet of paper as well. If you received, you can see on the rocks, the texture on there. If you received our direct mail piece, which I know a bunch of you did because that's how you registered for today's webinar, I'm going to just hold it up to the camera here, but this was done with soft touch coating and then a reticulating varnish across the luggage. And I don't know, when it came in the mail, even though soft touch doesn't qualify, man, did it stand out. It's got a really, really nice feel to it. We got one of our highest direct mail responses ever without using some sort of technology, which we'll talk about in the next webinar, on that particular piece. So that's become, you know, I think it's probably similar to the smell thing that we're seeing. Using touch has become a very, very important strategy for clients. I need your help, guys. Some of you that have been on these webinars for, you know, the last 4 years know that the only example I can find of edible paper is the stupid Fanta orange soda ad. And it's gotta be because it just sucks as a technique, because nobody else has done it, but man, I just keep showing it because it's edible paper, it tastes like orange soda, and these people look like they're having the time of their lives eating this advertisement out of a magazine. I don't know, I guess it's not really COVID friendly anymore to rip a page out of a magazine that came through the mail and put it in your mouth. But maybe it'll never happen again. But if anybody, I'll tell you, gold star, 5% off your next job if you can find me a good example of somebody using edible paper, and so I can use it in next year's webinar. And then finally, hearing. So hearing, this is like the little cards you get. You know, they have their, you know, I'm just going to play the little video of the car. Y'all know what that is, but you know, it's the little pull tabs that are in there, and they make the car go vroom, which is kind of neat. All right, so there's the specialty substrates. The next one is interactive. So interactive has also become very popular. Part of it, I think, is a lot of clients are doing these three-dimensional care packages, and that's where interactive print can really make a difference in terms of the impact you can have with the clients. So from a 3D interactive standpoint, this video here kind of highlights one of our partners, Worcester Polytech, who's very creative and been very creative with our team about using interactive pieces. So this was like an original one where they punched out their motto, or their mascot, which is a goat. It's like a paper doll. They also integrated some nice augmented reality in this, so you could do these Snapchatty filters and take a screenshot and then share it on social media and get some social media traction. Bang, bang, we love that as marketers. They did an interactive wheel if you were a sophomore, where you can kind of spin the wheel around for your different interests. Again, added some augmented reality to find out more about the school. And then they said, geez, that worked so well from a recruiting standpoint. Why don't we use that for this big capital campaign that we're kicking off? So you can see there was a little SWAT UV on that particular envelope. It's a soft touch brochure. It's a capital campaign. The towers are kind of a signature part of WPI. You know, again, the little paper doll punch outs where they can make their actual little towers. You can see there, it also went into a gift pack for a webinar. So they tied it into kind of a welcome reception, virtual welcome reception, just all kinds of great things to get people to interact from a 3D standpoint. Here's another kind of cool one, which is, it's called a light box. So basically it uses a QR code. You scan the QR code and your phone becomes a little bit of a light show. And then you can kind of put the card on top of that and then create a dark room like I did with my jacket to film this. But you can see how the phone kind of makes it come alive from a greeting card standpoint. So just neat ways to use interactivity. You can also do it with pop-ups. Pop-ups are great because there's an element of a surprise. You know, this is a piece that we did where you kind of pull off the belly band and the thing just pops out at you. You know, those are the types of things that people love, and they show to their neighbors, or they show to other people. And every time they look at it and do it, you know, our brand message gets more and more solidified into what they're trying to promote. Specialty folds. So, whoops, I have to like bend over. I'm sorry, I dropped my mouse. Thanks. I'm glad we're all friends here. not very professional. So there's a number of different specialty folds. This one is one of our favorites. It's in German, so you can't see what it says, but it's called an infinity fold. So basically, it allows you to tell a story as the piece folds out in all kinds of different ways. It's really a neat technique. And the other one that I would highly recommend if you're into folds is you follow Trish Witowski on the Fold Factory on YouTube. Every week she highlights a different fold of the week, and one time she actually highlighted ours. So I'm going to show you a quick little video of that. It's a combined fold. It's called a rolling reveal fold. So take a look at this, and then I'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Trish from Fold Factory, and this is your 60-second super cool fold of the week. Thanks for watching. This week's super cool fold is a really clever folded self-mail solution from my good friends at DS Graphics Universal Wild. And when it opens, this is actually a hybrid format. This is a rolling reveal folder. So this has a roll fold element and a reveal folder element, which I'll show you. And so this opens up, and as I said, it's got an aviation theme, so they're using different call names. Features here, it says fast, and it lifts up, and then this panel folds down. Here's your reveal folder right here. It rolled out, that was your roll fold. Here's the reveal, and then each of these panels that fold down can perf off and create a paper airplane, so kind of cool. And they're highlighting the different features: speed, durable, this is distance. And so this airplane is a different airplane that's designed for long distances. It's kind of neat how they tie in all of the kind of the conceptual element here of aviation, which is a lot of fun, and then they tie it into the features and benefits of the press. This also has some technology. There's a QR code right here, and that is Blippar's Web AR software, and it's augmented reality. It's got some different videos to watch. And really neat how that works as well. So you just scan that and you can get to videos. So just really nicely done. These were printed on 100-pound dull text coated.
So you can check out Trish's full review. I cut that down quite a bit on that particular piece. It was super successful. It's done on a KM1, so it's a digital press, so you can get those big pieces with all those cool folds in it. So there's your interactive. And then finally, specialty envelopes. So if you can get envelopes today, hats off, right? Envelopes are a huge problem right now for all of us. So if you're going to pay a fortune and wait 6 months for an envelope, you might as well make it a specialty envelope. That's my motto. So these are called trailing edge shaped envelopes. They mail at the same rate, postage rate, as any other regular automated envelope, but you can use these shapes on the trailing edge. Basically two things: it makes it stand out in the mail, but it also does a cool job of communicating your message. So there's like 250 approved shapes by the USPS. I've seen wine bottles. We have about 4 or 5 of them, you know, the half circle, square, things like that. But it allows you to do some really neat messaging and call outs on your envelope. So if you're mailing things in the number 10 or something like that, these trailing edge shaped envelopes tend to get a very, very high response rate, and they get converted, printed and converted. So you can do a lot of really cool things from a print perspective as well. Anything you can print on a digital or offset press, you can then convert into an envelope. So kind of a neat strategy. All right, so I'm going to check. I don't see any questions. I do have a poll for you guys. So next webinar is Emerging and Advanced Technologies. And one of the things that's become a very big interest to me, but also I think should be to every marketer, is kind of what's happening with Web 3.0, particularly the metaverse. And, you know, with Facebook losing, you know, the first time then ever they've lost users over a quarter, and Zuckerberg lost $30 billion in 8 minutes. And, you know, the Foo Fighters had this virtual reality concert after the Super Bowl where 10,000 people tried to show up. Just the whole world of the metaverse and NFTs and things like that are going to, I believe, fundamentally change how we do marketing. So before we get too into it, I'm going to launch a poll just to see what you're thinking about, if you are, in terms of the metaverse. So the question here is, are you beginning to talk about the metaverse and how it will impact your marketing strategy? And the answers are yes, no, and what is the metaverse? So go ahead and take a quick vote. Well, I think that maybe we got a little work to do about learning about it. So maybe we'll include a little primer on it in the Emerging Advanced Technologies. Anyways, thank you guys very, very much for attending the webinar, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one.